Welcome to the Magic Divorce Club podcast. This is your space to successfully navigate your divorce with confidence and create a roadmap to the life of your dreams. I'm your host, Hannah Harvey. I'm the author of How to Divorce Sober, and I have helped thousands of women to process the trauma of divorce and step into an exciting future. Please like and subscribe because this really helps my little podcast to grow. And if you would like more from me, you can subscribe at magicdivorceclub.substack.com for a host of other support tools. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Magic Divorce Club podcast. It's been a little while because I had a bit of burnout, I'll be honest, which is exactly why I'm talking about this today. Because, I didn't realise that this was going on, but I went back into my old patterns of when I don't feel fully settled and okay, I go into hyperdrive of must prove myself, must demonstrate to whoever it is, probably myself, my ex, a teacher when I was 5 who maybe said something mean, but going into that kind of proving that I am a worthwhile human being after all. And, as with everything with me, I like to learn things as I go along and then I share the insight afterwards. It's part of my human design. It's who I am. I learn everything the hard way and then I share it with you guys. So that's what we're doing today. And, the irony that this month's workshop is all about productivity has not escaped my attention. But what I have learned is that using the tips and tricks from this workshop is the best way to avoid burnout in your divorce. And I am relearning this stuff over and over again, but it's always there and you can always come back to it. So, how did I end up in this situation? I moved house in April and it was a blending of me and my new partner and our 5 children that we have. And there's something about moving house, which I talked about quite a lot because at the time the theme in the Magic Divorce Club was what to do about your house. We had Susie in talking about mortgages and helping you kind of decide what to do next. But it's the emotional side of moving that cannot be underestimated. The act of taking all of your belongings, it's almost, I see it like you're picking up a tree and all of the roots are kind of being yanked out of the ground and almost chopped off and then plunked somewhere else. And so it takes a while. You pick up a tree and plunk it somewhere else. It's going to take a while for those roots to really feel steady again and to bed down into the ground. And when I feel like I have had my roots picked up and dropped, I feel quite unsettled, as everybody does. Like, my partner had his own version of this, which, he's happy to talk about as well. But for me, I went into hyperdrive of, I must prove myself because I don't feel safe. So it's like, how can I control this situation? And I will do it by working really hard and not doing what I should be doing. I did do things like unpacking and trying to make sure the house was nice, but I didn't really pay much attention to my stuff. I didn't do much resting, being in the house. I didn't do much kind of enjoying the garden and taking my time to be like, oh, how can we make this really nice and homey? So that's why this exists here, because I went into hyperdrive working really, really hard. And then around the middle of May, I pretty much had burnout. and I was exhausted. I'd run out of all ideas. I felt like I didn't have anything left, quite worn out, and just like all this fun had been sucked out of my life when I was in this incredible new house with my partner, and we'd worked so hard to get to this point, and yet I hadn't given myself a second to enjoy it. So that's the background of why we're going here now. But I want you to say that I want you to know that this is not just an issue in day-to-day life. Like, this is massive when you're going through divorce, because the whole thing is like one big tree being lifted up, roots being cut off, and it's incredibly unsettling and makes you feel incredibly unsafe. So there's this constant feeling of must get shit done, must keep going, must not stop, because if I stop, what if I can't start again? So often with things like productivity tips, it's a lot about like, how can we get as much done in as little time as possible? And the problem we have is that not only are you trying to get as much done as possible, and maybe on top of that trying to prove your worth and your existence in the world because of the breakdown of your relationship and the fact you're going through trauma, is there's no space for grief. There's no space for uncertainty when you're just trying to get shit done all the time. It makes making legal decisions and parenting and trying to work all at the same time, everything is just maxed out. Your whole body, your nervous system is at full capacity, and all the while your poor little brain is trying to process the trauma. So actually that half of your brain is completely unavailable, because it's like, I'm traumatized and I need to work out what's going on here. Which means that you're left with half a brain to do a whole bunch of new stuff that you've maybe never ever done before, unless you happen to be a divorce lawyer or maybe a financial advisor or a mortgage advisor. Like, you've got a little bit of a leg up, but overall, it doesn't matter what your profession is. If you're going through divorce, you are almost certainly in trauma. And the basic things feel difficult most of the time. And what I have discovered is that less is more with this stuff. At one point in my divorce, I got great comfort from meticulously planning every single hour of my week. So my kids would go to their dads at the weekend for maybe a day or so, and I loved Sunday afternoons where I could sit with a massive piece of paper and I draw all the lines on of the week, and then I decide in colour-coded style exactly what I was going to do with the week, down to the minute, when I was going to have coffee with friends, when I was going to be working on my social media, when I was going to be writing my book. Every single second was planned out. And it made me feel great, because I was like, it's like when you do the color-coded timetable of your revision schedule. That was the best bit of revising. I didn't do the revision. I just wanted to do the map. I wanted to feel in control of at least that bit of my life. But the wheels would fall off the second I didn't stick to the plan, which was normally quite quickly afterwards, because I was so exhausted from writing the plan. I can't possibly do the plan now. And my plan did not take into account the fact that I'm a human being who was grieving, going through divorce, and needed a shit ton of kindness and compassion around her. There was no room for rest. It was just do. We need to get out of this shit now. We need to prove you're a worthwhile human being. That is exhausting. And very quickly, even then, it led to proper burnout. And there were times when because I didn't create space to recover and to recuperate and do things that brought joy into my life, my body then more or less said, time's up, you need to stop. And I'm going to make you really ill so that you do. And then the same thing happened again with the house. And I'm like, am I ever going to learn this lesson? But the thing is that some of us just need more time than others to learn our lessons. And it's just reminded me once again that this stuff is so important. I bang on and on and on in the Magic Divorce Club, especially on Magic Mondays, about compassion. Because it's the thing that has taken me the longest to work out. We have to be kind to ourselves. We have to give ourselves a chance to do fun things and rest when we need to, so that we can show up and be ourselves, to do the work, to shine in the world, to look after our kids, to make great decisions. You can't do any of that if you're completely flat out burnt out. It's just not possible. So literally, this is what Laura said the other week on Magic Monday. She was like, I've realized that slowing down is the fastest way through this. I'm like, yes, that's it. It genuinely is. Because when we slow down, actually, a lot of the things that we think we have to decide just kind of sort themselves out. So then there's fewer decisions to make, which puts less pressure on your nervous system, because obviously making decisions can make you feel like, shit, what if I get it wrong? It's hard. Like, I don't want to make a choice, because if I do, it might be the wrong one. And then something awful might happen. I might get told off. I might get called out. It's, you know, the schoolgirl in us is like, fuck, I don't like this. But it's so important that underneath all of this, the essence of being productive is giving yourself space to rejuvenate, to heal, to rest, and remembering above all else that when you're going through something as hideous as divorce, you need more rest and recuperation than you did before. And I bet you before you didn't do much of that either. So whatever you weren't doing before, double that, double it again, double it again. You need more. If you think that half of your brain is too busy recovering to do anything else, that kind of gives you a clue that maybe half your time needs to be making sure that you're resting and doing things. And when I say rest, I don't mean literally lying down all day. I mean doing things that make you feel good, that make you feel rejuvenated and alive, and helps you connect back with your essence of who you are and the things that fire you up and get you excited and help you feel creative. Because otherwise divorce is just a fucking drudgery of shit stuff going on and things to worry about. And so we need to be resourced so that we can deal with that, but then know that it's not the only thing going on in our lives. So one of the things that I really want to work on tomorrow when we do the workshop is working out exactly what it is that helps you to rejuvenate. So by the end of the workshop, you will have a really clear idea of the things that light you up and make you feel great. And we will design your perfect day. So on those days when you feel like shit and you're like, I need to call in with a mental health day, whether it's to work or whether it's for whatever, home life, this is the stuff you're going to do. And I want you to see it as maintenance. It's not a luxury. Like if your car had an oil light come on, you wouldn't be like, just taking my car into the garage for a pamper. You're like, no, it literally needs this or it might break down and that would be awful. The same goes for our bodies. Like every time you do something for yourself, like I try and get reflexology nearly every month because If I don't, I notice the difference. And it's really important to me that I look after my body because I don't want to burn out. So in amongst the fact that I was working really, really hard, I had these habits already in place that were there to help look after me. So I'll still get my nails done. I will still get my feet prodded so that it's hard to say, but I feel it massively benefits my hormone levels, and just generally feeling looked after by somebody else makes me feel really replenished. So even though I did work too hard and I was burning out, I still had those habits in place. If you don't have anything like that in place, then, it's going to be even worse. Like if I didn't have those things, I don't know, probably would have fallen apart slightly sooner. But anyway, my point is these things are not pampering, they're maintenance. So reframe that in your mind. It is incredibly important when you have gone from being in a family unit where you're kind of looking after each other, that was what was meant to happen, to becoming a single mother with a load of legal worries on your mind. You need to up the maintenance of your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul, the things that are going to light you up and help you connect back into what really matters and your true essence and almost who you are. Because the chances are, if you've been married to somebody else for quite some time and having a challenging time, you might have forgotten who that is. So it's like getting to know yourself again is all part of this essential maintenance of our lives. So tomorrow I'll be teaching 3 things. Working out exactly what rejuvenates you and building this into like an actual usable habit. So we don't wait for burnout, as I so helpfully demonstrate on a regular basis. But we're all work in progress. I know what I need to do, I just need to remember to do it. So working out exactly what rejuvenates you and building that into your habits. We can start really, really small. Not waiting for burnout to happen, but creating pockets of rejuvenation through your day that leave you feeling clearer, having a really calm plan. And those things, before I even talk about how to use your time productively when it comes to divorce, those few things are the thing that are going to make everything easier. It's literally magic. And obviously on top of that, we'll be doing some of the magic stuff so that you feel held and protected and safe as we work through this stuff. And you may find in the workshop that stuff comes up for you. And that's what we want. We want to shine a light on the things that make it difficult for you to put yourself first. So we'll have a really great understanding of all of these things. And no longer going on about pampering. It's not a luxury to look after yourself. It's literally essential, because if the wheels fall off and you burn out, what are you going to do? It's just you right now. Like, we need you to be healthy. We need you to feel vitality even in the midst of this, to feel strong. And I believe in you. Like, I know this is possible. So you'll leave with a really beautiful, calm and clear plan that will make you so much more productive. Rather than just ploughing on through, scattergunning your to-do list and feeling like you've not actually made any progress. You're going to learn how to exactly make progress. But in the meantime, making sure that you inject your week with really important maintenance. Okay, I'm going to stop yabbering on about it, but I want you to know that you're doing enough. You are already doing enough. I know for a fact, even though I might not have spoken to you personally yet, which please get in touch so that I can speak to you personally. I want to know your story, and where you are in your divorce and what you find the hardest at the moment. Like, get in touch. That's the whole point of this community, is that we get to know each other. And then we're going to start to make it easier because of the fact that you are maintaining yourself and not just plowing on through. Thank you so much for listening, and if you could subscribe and leave a review, that would be amazing. For all of your tips and tools, head over to magicdivorceclub.substack.com and you can find everything that you need there. You've got this, and I've got you.